Hey, Edgar community. Today I'm really excited to be talking about our newest feature, which is adding Pinterest as an option for you to send your content out. We are lucky enough to be joined by the product director, Kevin, here at MeetEdgar, who's going to walk us through a little bit on what it takes to add in a new feature to our software and why we're so excited to introduce Pinterest as an option for you. So we'll go ahead and pass it over to Kevin to introduce himself a little bit and give us a little background on how and why and what goes into adding a new network into a software product like Edgar. So Kevin, go right ahead.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm Kevin. I'm the product director here, but I also do the design for the product. So anything that you see once you log in, I help design. So yeah. Um, and yeah, so we're very excited to be delivering Pinterest to our users. I know it's something that people have been wanting for a long time. It's something we've been wanting for a long time too. It just took some time to get connected with Pinterest because we are such a small team. So we wanted to get connected with Pinterest, and eventually we were able to get access to their marketing partnership, and with that, access to their API so that we can deliver it for you.
Now, when you say API and a marketing partnership, these terms make a lot of sense to you being on the development side. But
Sure.
for people like us who aren't exactly super techy, what exactly happens when a post gets sent through an API, and why do we have to have a partnership with Pinterest in order to get that? Can you dive into that a little bit further?
Sure. So with access to an API, it's how Edgar can connect to those networks. And certain networks have open available APIs where we are able to access them without having to have like a legal partnership. But certain networks like Pinterest, you need to have a formalized partnership and agreement with that network to be able to access the API. And so that API allows us to send content on your behalf to those networks.
That makes so much sense. Now, when we're actually sending the content from Edgar through the API to Pinterest, what are some of the features that Edgar is actually bringing in to make sure that we're sending the right pins to the right boards? And how is this all set up within Edgar?
Yeah, so with our Pinterest integration, you'll be able to select the board you want to send it to. You'll also be able to set everything you need to set for your pins. So you'll be able to add the description text, but you'll also be able to add the Pinterest title as well as the source link. And in addition to that, you'll be able to add image or video. Video will be limited to only business accounts, so make sure you've turned your account into a business account so that you can access that feature. But yeah, with that feature, you'll be able to send pins with images or videos to Pinterest whenever you want to. You can do the one-off send, or you can add it to your schedule to send throughout the month.
Oh, that's so awesome. So it sounds like you thought about a lot of different types of posts that people like to do on Pinterest, whether it's a still image or a video. When you actually design a new feature, kind of from a designer product standpoint, what do you actually think about to make sure it is easy to use as well as beautiful within our system and usable for the community here at Meet Edgar? Can you walk us through some of your thought processes there?
Sure. So when we are evaluating a feature, we really start by looking at a lot of what our users are saying. And so a lot of it has to do with what people are saying to our customer service team and hearing exactly the problems they're having. And then we also like to look at cancellation feedback too, and seeing why people are leaving Edgar and where they're going, and listening to specific features that they need to be successful. And then besides that, we also keep our eye on how social media is evolving and really paying attention to how strategy evolves with the shifting landscape. And so we know what our users need to be more successful, and Pinterest is definitely one of those things because it's a lot more, has a lot more engagement, and there's a lot more imagery involved, and that's just where the field is moving. And then as far as designing it goes, one of my biggest concerns is making sure it's simple enough to use. With every additional network, it adds complexity. And so, like I mentioned before, with Pinterest, there is an additional step of selecting the board you want to send it to, as well as the source link and title field. And so every time there is a network specific addition to the composer, it creates some complexity. So my biggest concern is trying to make it as streamlined as possible and as simple as possible while still adding those additional requirements. Um, Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes so much sense. And as Kevin said, we are driving our features from what you guys out there want to see. It doesn't make sense for us just to create an app that has to do with things that we think you want to see. So we really love your feature requests. So send them in to support@meetedgar.com. We actually have a feature request board that I will link to in the bottom of this video if you'd like to submit a feature. We love feedback, so keep it coming here. Kevin, this has been a really cool dive into behind the scenes content and why we really love for you to amplify our message out to as many networks as possible, because we do truly care about making sure our community is able to get their mission and message out to the right people on the right networks. And Pinterest is one that we are seeing drive so much traffic from that social network to your actual blog or podcast or site. So if you're not on Pinterest yet, guys, please make yourself an account. We will be doing so much education around how and why to use Pinterest to drive traffic and gain more customers. So that was an amazing overview, Kevin. I would love to leave our community with one thing that you are extra excited about for introducing Pinterest to people today.
Yeah, so one thing we're very excited about is, in addition to the Pinterest release, we will be releasing media variations. And so this is going to really amplify what you can do with Edgar. And so you might be familiar with our variations tool where you can edit the text to have multiple posts for one initiative or one campaign, but just slightly change the text to match it. With media variations, you'll now be able to select different images or different videos for each variation as well. So with that, you can kind of create as a huge library for just one campaign or one initiative that you have. And the reason we're releasing that with Pinterest is because Pinterest considers one image or one video the same pin. So if you have the same image with different text in Pinterest's eyes, and also the users of Pinterest, it would appear as one, the same pin repeated. And so we're really trying to set you up to be successful with Pinterest. And by doing media variations, you can have a varied look on your feed, on your Pinterest feed, and also really help you amplify that one thing you're trying to provide with each post. So that's like a really big, exciting thing. And I think users will find it very helpful, and not even just for Pinterest, it'll be very helpful for things like Instagram as well. And part of that partnership with Pinterest is a little bit of a back and forth and a dialogue with Pinterest. So we are hearing the best practices and what helps people be successful on Pinterest from Pinterest itself. And they're helping us develop features like media variations so we can ensure your success.
Oh, that is so exciting. I know that media variations is something that you all have been asking for all of these networks. So having Pinterest be able to accelerate this feature, again, listening to you guys, is something I am super excited for. So make sure you dive on into the new features, check them out, and let us know your feedback by sending it to support@meetedgar.com or filling out the form that's linked in this video. If you guys have more questions, reach out. We are more than happy to answer them. And Kevin, thank you so much for walking us through that today.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.